After a long, hot summer, September is the time to bring your Arizona garden back to life. The slightly cooler mornings and evenings make this the perfect time to transition your garden from summer to fall. Whether you want to plant new crops or just get your hands in the dirt, this is the month to make it happen. I'm Angela from Growing in the Garden. My garden's in Mesa, Arizona. I want to help you succeed even if you're gardening in tough conditions. Don't want to write all of this down? Everything's available in these planting calendars on my website. I also have a what to plant article for every month of the year. September is the perfect time to get one last round of warm season crops in the ground. That warm soil helps the roots grow fast. Here's what you should plant this month. This is a good time to plant beans. I'm planting lima beans, our favorite dragon tongue beans, and edamame is another excellent choice to get in the ground this month. It's time to plant cucumbers from seed or transplant and cucamelons. If you haven't started them indoors, look for pepper, eggplant, and ground cherry transplants. Plant itoy onions and shallots. You can do shallots from transplant like this, from bulbs, or from seeds. You can get a quick crop from summer squash, either from seed or transplant. Tomatillos, make sure to get 2 for pollination. And tomatoes. Let me show you how to plant them. Want a bumper crop of tomatoes this year? Before you plant, amend the soil with compost and lots of worm castings. Plant your tomatoes about 2 feet apart so they have room to spread. In this 8-foot bed, I'm planting 4 tomatoes right down the middle. Give those tomatoes something to climb. I'm adding another fryer trellis right down the middle of this bed. When it's time to plant, cut off the bottom leaves and bury it nice and deep. Roots will grow along that entire stem. A stronger plant means more tomatoes. If you don't have enough room to go deep, you can bury it sideways as well, but go deep if you can. Cut off any blossoms for the first couple of weeks and let them focus on growing nice, deep roots. September is a great time to plant potatoes. Get your soil ready by adding in some compost and worm castings. Each potato should have at least 2 eyes, those little sprouts. Plant each potato about 1 foot apart. And because it's still warm, I'm planting them 3 inches deep. The soil is cooler down there. Keep them watered, but not too wet. Once the sprouts pop up, I'm going to cover this with a thick layer of straw to keep those potatoes from turning green and becoming bitter. As the weather starts to cool down, hopefully in mid-September, it will be time to start cool season crops. Keep an eye on the weather. Once temperatures begin to cool and the nighttime lows are consistently in the 70s, you're good to go. Arugula, beets, and bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, kale, and cauliflower. You can plant from seed or transplant. Turnips, carrots, and radishes. These root veggies do best started from seed. Greens like Swiss chard, lettuce, and spinach. Use transplants for this one, but use seeds for these. They're less likely to bolt. Celery, plant from transplants. It is slow to start from seed. Peas and green onions. Try my favorite super sugar snap peas this year. You won't be disappointed. Did your garlic come in the mail? Pop it in the fridge until it's time to plant next month. If you want homegrown sweet strawberries in Arizona, mid-September is the time to plant. Before you plant, add compost and worm castings to the soil. Give each plant about 1 foot of space. It's nice if you can dedicate an entire bed to strawberries and they have their own space. They may need more water than some of your other plants. The most important thing when planting strawberries, don't bury the crown. That's where their leaves meet the roots and all the new growth comes from. Keep them well watered and pick off any flowers that form for the first few weeks. Also, snip off those runners and you can use them to make new plants. All these runners will take too much energy from the plant. This runner already has some roots developing. It's a good candidate to pot up and make a new plant. September can still be hot. If you're going to plant cool season crops, here's a few extra tips. Make sure that you're planting in good soil. Take the time to harden off your seedlings so they're used to conditions outside. Plant seeds a little deeper so they don't dry out and the soil is cooler. Plant at the end of the day so the plants can settle in overnight when it's cooler. Provide extra shade mulch, and water well. Want to add some color and pollinators to your garden? Here are the flowers you can plant in September. Early in the month, you could plant marigolds and all of these. Once those nighttime temperatures start to come down, you can plant snapdragons, verbena, and all of these. September is also the time to start seeds indoors. Here are the essentials to remember when you're starting seeds indoors. Use seed starting mix. It's different than regular soil and makes it easy for the seeds to germinate. Fill up clean seed starting trays with the soil and make sure it's hydrated. Plant seeds at the proper depth. The seed packet should tell you how deep to plant. Plant 2 or 3 seeds per cell and thin them out pretty soon after they sprout. Top with a thin layer of vermiculite. This helps hold in the moisture and keep down the algae. Don't forget to label it so you know what you planted. Put them someplace where they get lots of light. Grow lights are essential. The light from a window is not enough. Water from the bottom and keep the soil hydrated but not soggy. When seedlings emerge, thin to the strongest seedling. That gives them plenty of room to grow. A fan helps the stems grow stronger. Once they have a few sets of leaves, start hardening them off so they get used to the outdoors. And then you can plant them outside. This month you can start veggies like kale, broccoli, and cabbage indoors. Look at all the other seeds you can start indoors in September. Here are the flowers you can start indoors in September. September is an exciting time in the Arizona garden. With the right planning and care, your garden will be ready for the cooler months ahead. What are you planting this month? Let me know in the comments. And I forgot the rest. The lawyer husband in me is like, not every. Anytime you use very, are you sure you want to use very? I'm just gonna take that part out, okay. Look how pretty the sky is, oh my gosh.